demos. Okay, let's get this party started, y'all. Do you want professional live streams? Fantastic. Well, you can do so with software like Ecamm Live. But what's better than professional live streams that look good and solid? Well, multiple camera live stream productions using Ecamm or any other software. And you can do that very, very simply. Today, I'm going to go over a multi-camera streaming setup for live that's super simple, super easy. And I have a sneaky little trick for you at the end of the video. So don't go anywhere. If you don't have the budget for a second camera, don't worry, I got your back. We are going to take care of you and give you a way that you can get multi-cam streaming setups without multiple cameras. How cool is that? Okay, so we're gonna go through the setup. I'm gonna give you a demo today. And let's talk about the two different cameras that you might have, right? So you might have a webcam or you might have a DSLR camera. So if you have a webcam, then all you're gonna need is your USB cable. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is plug that into the computer. So now, as you can see, we have the Logitech webcam, hello, all set up and in Ecamm. It is so super simple. The beautiful thing about Ecamm is how easily it sees, right? So when you connect a camera, it's automatically going to be seen in your production. So as you can see, when you add a new scene, you're actually going to see all of your different cameras connected right here in the camera switcher, which can be moved around, and you can literally just manually click on each camera as you want to. You literally can just connect to each different camera manually as you so desire through your production. All right, so the second type of camera you might have is a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera, right? One of the fancier cameras. And those are not USB, but what you're gonna need is actually a capture card. Okay, so a capture card looks like this. This is the Cam Link 4K. It has one end that is going to the computer itself to be seen as a USB camera, just like the Logitech webcam I used, and an HDMI port right here that connects to the camera. And in this case, my Sony my Sony RX10 over there has a micro HDMI port. So we're going to plug this in over here. Get it the right way. And then we're going to take the Cam Link and plug it into the computer. And voila, automatically, the camera will actually be seen. This is the camera output, and it will be seen in Ecamm now to switch to, right? So now we have the Cam Link 4K in addition to my camera here. Now, let's talk reality here. There is a possibility for you to just plug in your DSLR or mirrorless camera into the computer itself. That is possible just using USB for some cameras. You might get a degraded signal from that, or you will get a degraded signal from that. So it won't be as clear of a picture as a high quality capture card like I just showed you. So that's something to keep in mind. You can do it if you don't have the money to invest in a capture card. But at some point, if you want the fullest, best quality, most professional looking stream you can get, then you're going to want to upgrade to that capture card. Now, what I want to point out is how I showed you that you can manually connect to each of the different cameras, right? What you can do in Ecamm specifically, and any other software as well, just different kind of setups, is you can actually create scenes that are attached to each individual camera. So for example, if I create a brand new scene, then I'm starting with a blank scene and I'm going to hit the camera button right here, and I'm going to choose my main camera. Now, if I name this scene main cam, then what I have is a full scene that only has that camera. Now I can connect that to my Stream Deck, right? And I can say this camera icon on my Stream Deck allows me to connect to that particular scene that I created that just has that one camera. And then I can go individually to the different cameras through the Stream Deck alone and through Ecamm. So in Ecamm, you would set up a separate scene for each camera and any assets on top of that that you want, like this stuff. And then you can literally use the Stream Deck to just switch easily. So you could either do it manually on the fly through Ecamm with a click of a mouse, or you can set up something like the Stream Deck, which literally, if you're not familiar with the Stream Deck, this is literally just a keyboard, if you will. It's a device that doesn't do anything all in and of itself, but it connects to software to allow you to have a one-person switching production. That way you can have CNN quality, TV production, broadcast quality without a producer. If you need a Callie, that's different. So what are some of the reasons that you might actually want to do this multi-camera streaming setup? Well, first and foremost, better engagement. Increased engagement is huge. The more you can swap between your scenes, right? I could say, ask Abby how what she thinks about something I say, or we can show a different angle. We can visualize the things that we're talking about, and I guarantee that will increase your engagement from your viewers because they're staying alert. The more visual engagement you give them, the more actual engagement you get. Another reason is just different angles, right? You might want to provide people with a different visual experience. And so those different angles, right, you can go back and forth. And not only does that give you increased engagement, it gives you higher production value and also helps your audience see, understand, and learn better. Now, of course, just like you saw when I did this, right, you could do that with your main camera, but what if you did that with a separate camera? That can help, again, visually increase the level of production and help people understand and see things better. And also, of course, my favorite one is the pet cam, right? So sometimes we'll even have Abby cam like pop up on screen. And so you can do that kind of thing. And it's really super fun to have, you know, a pet cam kind of off to the side, just the whole stream. You can actually let people see what's going on with that pet cam, and it adds that extra engagement factor and just connects you to the viewers a lot more on a deeper level. Now, I have a trick for you. I don't want you to think that you have to buy all of these different fancy cameras, right? So here's the cool thing. In Ecamm software, you can actually do something pretty cool, and that is actually create two angles from the same camera. So if you don't have a budget for a second camera just yet, then you're going to actually do it very, very simply. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to create a new scene, and I'm going to choose my main camera, okay? So we'll go to my main camera, and then what happens if I just take this camera effects, and I'm going to move this over here. So this over here is my output that you as the viewer is seeing. If I go into zoom and pan, then guess what I can do, right? I can create a whole scene that comes in on that angle a little bit more for a little bit of emphasis, right? So if I were to go out of demo mode here real quick, and I'll show you, we can go from the main cam to a popped in version, right? So if I want to make a point, if I want to emphasize something, I can very easily create that effect just by going from that to the new scene, right? So that's a very, very easy way to add some extra production value without the extra investment or effort, right? Oh, you guys love that tip. Awesome. Okay, so we've got question and answer coming up for the live viewers. If you do have questions about all of this stuff, be sure to join us live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific. And if you want to learn more about increasing your production level, I would highly encourage you, check this video out so that you can dive deeper, you can learn more, and you can have that spark and that instant credibility when people watch your videos, live streams, webinars, or anything else. I'll see you in the next video.